SNL had a very funny skit this past weekend that went pretty hard after COVID, and a lot of the Karens were high-key upset about it. Let's roll this.
Are you feeling tired and worn down? Sick of the endless grind at work? Exhausted by your family, desperate for some peace and quiet?
Daniel! Your kids want you!
Then ask your doctor about COVID. By simply getting COVID, you're guaranteed a 5 and sometimes even 10-day vacation from all of life's problems.
I needed a break. Just some time away from everyone. So my doctor suggested I get COVID, and it was the greatest week of my life.
All I wanted was to sit on the good part of the couch and watch the Netflix I want to watch. And I was finally able to, thanks to COVID.
At first, I was worried about getting COVID, but my doctor assured me it's fine now. I'm triple vaxxed. Quadruple if you count HPV. So it's my time to shine.
Side effects of COVID include having COVID, which is still kind of bad, but doesn't it seem different now?
I definitely got sick. But I also got paid for 10 days to never leave a blanket. Plus, I got a great story I could tell people at work. It was like I had a bad cold for 3 days.
And of course I had to isolate from my 3 kids because I didn't want to get them sick.
But, what do they eat?
I gave it 14 days to be extra safe.
And for an extra fee, we'll knock out the Wi-Fi near your house so you can't do any Zooms.
Oh, well, too bad.
COVID is the perfect way to get out of jury duty, cousin's wedding, friend's improv show, neighbor's adult baptism, and husband's murder trial. At this point, COVID is basically a 10-day cruise, which is also a great way to get COVID.
So, Hannah, I thought this was really funny. It also told us how much the narrative has shifted among the mainstream, that like SNL can now joke like this. What was your initial reaction?
Oh, I thought it was hilarious, and I hardly ever think SNL is hilarious, so it was a nice skit. I thought it was funny. I think this actually is how a lot of people see COVID. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You know, I had it earlier this year, and I actually had a pretty bad bout with it, even though I did have the vaccine. So I'm still not trying to get it, but I can laugh at it, and I thought it was pretty true. I mean, honestly, look, COVID was tough on parents. I think a lot of parents would like a break from their kids, want to break from the education thing, want to break from like 24/7 Zooms. Like, it has been a lot mentally. And I think for me and you, I'll just speak for myself, it's not been as much for me, right? Because I don't have kids. I've had family nearby. Like, my life has kind of been great during COVID, but I can only imagine if I had been locked down with kids this whole time, especially as a woman. We know women still do a lot more of the work in the house. They do a lot more of the work in their personal relationships with their spouses. And I think that this would be, you know, really funny to most people in that demographic of like, yeah, a vacation away from all this sounds great.
Yeah, and if anything, it's a good sign, right? That people have moved on from COVID. There's a vaccine available for anyone who wants it, and that people can joke about it. But the Karens were so angry. How dare you joke about our COVID? So let's go through. The COVID Karen in chief, the OG COVID Karen, Taylor Lorenz, a Washington Post journalist, tweeted, "Thousands are dying a week. Millions disabled, 0 protections for the elderly and immunocompromised. Shit like this is evil, to be honest." Another person wrote, "My dad died from COVID, and SNL thinks it's appropriate to joke about the humanitarian crisis / mass disabling event that is this pandemic." Another person wrote, "A million dead, millions affected by long COVID where they can't breathe, walk, hold a job. Thanks, COVID. It must be nice being affluent, wealthy people who can go about their day. Sorry, people with cancer or the immunocompromised who are still living with Nightmareville. When it had killed 100,000 of us, it was tragic," said another person. "Now we're up over 1 million. It's the 3rd leading cause of death in the country. It's still killing 3,000 people a week, and it's a joke." People, get a grip. If anything, things that are serious or that were traumatizing, those are the things we need to joke about the most. Humor is a way of processing. Humor is a way of humanizing and discussing our emotions and putting them out there. And if that's why even the most messed up things can make for good jokes, like the idea that, oh, you don't care about the people that died if you joke about COVID. Actually, you're just a person who can't take a joke. Like, calm down, people.
I think it's become their new sacred cow. honestly, for a lot of people on the left, like their whole regime around COVID, it really did become their religion. It became a cult. And they will never be able to, one, look back and admit errors, significant errors that they made, and two, to be able to joke about it, or three, to even acknowledge that, like, yes, a lot of people died, but a lot more people died than would have because of disease, because of government policies. Like, that's actually what most people died from, right? Sending old people to nursing homes, having really stupid regulations that prevented people from going to open hospital beds to overflowing ones, continual blockage of testing and things the free market could have done to actually expedite how we were addressing this and handling, giving us fake information like how wearing cloth masks would prevent it, right? All of these things actually are what got that many people killed, not the disease itself. And since the vaccine has come about, the reality is the vast majority of people are fine. And so it is okay to look back and apply some humor. I'm with you. Like, I think sometimes I'm a proponent of dark humor even. I think that's one of the best ways to deal with heavy issues. As somebody who has mental health issues, like, I love dark humor. So I'm just not here for this. I think this is really absurd, and a lot of people just need to go touch grass, honestly.
They're just Karens. They just want to control other people. Like, all of this doesn't make any sense. These people are the most pro-vax people, but they're out here acting like there's no protections for the disabled. Like, I'm sorry, what do you call the vaccine? I thought you said that protects you, and it does, from death or serious illness. But then they're also acting like, oh, but immunocompromised people exist. Okay, they existed before the pandemic. And they had to isolate when there was flu and other things that were a threat to them. Like, they take these rare edge cases and they want to batter us into submission and control our whole lives because I don't know, maybe they're just neurotic. Maybe they got off on the power and the control. But whoever they are, all these people that can't take a joke and still want this to be a forever emergency they can use to control us, as far as I'm concerned, they can shove it, right? Absolutely, I never want to hear from any of them again. They went viral for talking about an article that called for a pandemic amnesty for all the people that were wrong. No amnesty. No. Yep. You people have lost your credibility forever for all the terrible things you advocated for and were wrong about. Sorry, not sorry. Next.